Yep.
Okay.
Each video should be 2 to 5 minutes. And the reason is you can't break learner trust. And learner trust is
Welcome to the Laws of Business podcast. Here, we will share the skills you need to make your business a success. Learn about goal setting, productivity, time management, marketing, and much more. Hear inspiring stories with today's best business leaders and join a hub of thousands of passionate entrepreneurs across the world. And now, here's your host, Jamil Jama.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Law of Business, where I interview entrepreneurs that can help you to start and grow your business. I'm your host, Jamil Jama, and in this interview, we're going to be talking about human behavior, marketing, and how to create online courses, and also how to overcome failure. And I'm going to be chatting with EdTech disruptor and human behavior expert, Isaac Tolpin. Before I start the interview with Isaac, I would like to introduce him and who he is and what he does. Isaac Tolpin is one of the founders of cultivating, the #1 micro-learning platform for influencers and companies. He's a tech entrepreneur and futurist at heart, on a mission enabling brands to authentically connect and inform at scale, with over 105 million in combined revenues from the companies he's helped build. His success comes from understanding the relationships between human behavior, business, and technology. This expertise has helped celebrity influencers and companies to transform their knowledge into humanized digital training. His recent background includes cultivating a vineyard, keynote speaker, digital marketer, and EdTech disruptor through the pioneering micro-training technology convertyour.com, the platform that's improving the way influencers and organizations connect and train their people. He brings a visionary mindset to his family by creating a legacy, raising and educating their 7 children with his wife, Angie Tolpin of courageousmom.com. And his wife, Angie Tolpin, has a website called courageousmom.com. He refuses to waste his life achieving the world's definition of success that leaves so many empty, but instead does what matters through the projects he's involved with, those he serves, and the family he leads. It's a real pleasure to welcome Isaac Tolpin. Isaac, thank you so much for being here. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great, Jamil. It's great to be here. Glad to have be in this discussion with you. Look forward to it.
Awesome. First of all, Isaac, I want to thank you so much for taking your time out to do this interview, because you run a very successful business. You've got 7 kids. Wow, 7 kids to look after, and you taking your time out to do this interview and help people. Basically, I appreciate that so much.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. Love the startup world, and just great to be here.
Fantastic. So, Isaac, I have to ask you about marketing and authenticity. And there's a quote that says, "Authenticity is the courage to be yourself." There's also another awesome quote by I don't know who made this quote, but this is a real awesome quote. There's another awesome quote that says this: "By being yourself, you put something wonderful in the world that was not there before." That's a real awesome quote. So my question for you, Isaac, is how does someone win in marketing in a culture that demands authenticity?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Is how do I connect with people and reach people and make them feel like the only one I'm communicating to through my marketing in a scalable, efficient way? And, I think we'll definitely talk about that. But I think, there's other sides to those quotes. I love those quotes you mentioned. And I think that, sometimes people think, wow, there's a lot of people that are already talking about this, already doing this thing that you might be thinking about doing. And I just want to encourage everybody listening that, there's only one of you. There's only one of you. If you've been given a message to say, if you've been given a brilliant idea to create a service or a product, or you're doing that, have conviction, obviously get your business model right, but have the conviction to push it forward and make it happen, because the way you do it will be an authentic and different projection than anybody else. And so I love the idea of like, hey, there is no other you, and everybody is made unique to do certain things in this world. And if we hold ourselves back because other people are doing it, that would be a shame.
It's like what I said in that quote: by being yourself, you put something wonderful in the world that was not there before, just by being yourself.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Absolutely. And we're in a world, thank goodness, we live in a world today where there's demand for the authentic you and the authentic brand. People are drawn towards brands that they can trust. And what breeds trust today? Not over polish, but authentic connection, real about our shortcomings and our strengths, and delivering on the promise that we're making. And I think if we can do that well, people, I mean, let's face it, services and products for the most part are a commodity, meaning you think of any certain product or service, there's many things for people to pick from and unlimited ways to get it. And so what is the differentiator today? The differentiator is how you make people feel. And do they feel connected to you? Do they feel connected to your brand? And that comes through authenticity. Yeah,
because people buy based on their emotions, but they justify it with logic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So your differentiation should be around, the things that you can make. How can your brand or your product or service not only make people do things better, but help make them feel better using your services?
Definitely. Awesome. And Isaac, you have made successful courses before, so you also know about human behavior, and you also know how to grow revenue. How does someone create online courses that align with human behavior and grows their revenue?
Yeah, and so we have the platform where brands, trainers are building their own courses in our software, and I, of course, have experience, with a huge production team and so forth in past of, putting together courses and all that kind of stuff. And so here's the thing: digital training is, for the most part, is a cumbersome tool in a traditional model. And the reason I say that is because you may be able to sell them, but if you don't build them in an experience that people actually enjoy, they buy it and they don't consume it or implement it. And you can sell a lot of them. There's people out there that brag about their $1 million product launch or whatever. But the question I would ask is, how many people actually consume that information, or at least enough of it, and actually implement in their lives? And then most people would still today throw up their hands and go, that's not my responsibility.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, is that really their responsibility, or is it a person?
So I built it, and they do. Well, let's take another example. Let's take Ivy League schools that charge the same or more for a college level class that's built in an online course. And let's say they're using something like Blackboard, something that's been around forever and kind of antiquated in user experience. And they're getting 25% or less in people completing that course that they pay full price for. Would you say, if there is better technology, if there is better best practices and a way to do it, is the responsibility only on the student, or is the responsibility also on the administrators of the college? And I think it's both. I think all personal responsibility is always there, right? I'm not, I'm a capitalist at heart, right? So personal responsibility is there. But if there is a way to do it better, I think that I think it's in our advantage to take responsibility as well for how many people are actually implementing what we're putting out there. And if we do, we can feel good at night and feel like, hey, it's not just how many things we're selling. I know when we make a sale, it's having a permanent impact on the people purchasing that because they're actually implementing it. Because I built it in a way that aligns with them. You can't say it's not my responsibility when you build something that works better on a computer than a mobile device. That is a travesty. Today, most things are consumed on a mobile device. That's media. Think of YouTube, Facebook videos, media, Instagram, across the board, Snapchat. I mean, most media is consumed on a mobile device. Let's face it. And the stats are there. And so when you're thinking about, I'll go back into practicality here. When you're thinking about building your course, first of all, make sure it's in technology that is built for mobile first, but also works on everything else. That one thing is a big difference maker, because how you make software for a mobile device and the user experience is quite different. And it's important that it's amazing on all mobile devices. And I would say another thing is that people don't want to just be talked at anymore. They want an experience. So they feel like they're buying an experience because maybe they look up to the trainer. They've been following their blog for a while. They like the brand, whatever. They have an emotional connection with that person that gives information. However, at the point of purchase, that's there, but it's soon lost once they start experiencing videos just talking at them. Now, so what people want is an experience. They want to be able to engage with that content, communicate back, have engagement, feel like other people are going through something with them. We'll call that social learning.
Yeah.
Get recognized for making progress in small pieces, and have gamification where there's a leaderboard and achievement currency and things like that.
So it needs to be interactive. It needs to be interactive. The course needs to be interactive.
It needs to be interactive, and
you
it
need a
needs
community.
to be,
you need a community as well. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. That social learning, that community aspect. Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Isaac. Was you going to say something else?
No, that's good. That's right on. And good clarifying words there. And so it's easier than ever to do that, and there's ways to do that. And I think a lot of things that are out there are just kind of static.
Yeah, definitely. I saw a video on YouTube, and a guy was saying the same thing. Like, if you want your YouTube videos to be successful, I know we're talking about online courses, but online courses are video courses, right? So he was basically saying, if you want your YouTube videos to be successful, one of the things, he mentioned 10 things, or he mentions around 10 things, and one of them was interactivity. Like, your video needs to be interactive, engage, so people can engage with you.
Yeah, I think so. In YouTube, everything's a different channel, right? So on YouTube, all you have is the video. So, and that's fine. That's good. That's what that thing is, and you can be super successful with that. However, in an online course, if you use the right technology, you can actually put less pressure on the video. Here's why. If you have, let's say, a course with 10 videos, that's a lot of work. And if you really put a lot of polish in those videos, make them highly edited and changing all the time, really interactive. If something becomes outdated in one of those videos that's in a complete course of 10 videos, how likely are you to go in and edit that highly edited video you spent a lot of time and money on? And so there's another challenge here and polish doesn't breed authenticity either, to bring up what we were first talking about. And so you want your videos to be good, but they need to be 2 to 5 minutes, never longer. They need
each training video needs to be 2 to 5 minutes, right?
That's right. Yep. Okay. Each video should be 2 to 5 minutes. And the reason is you can't break learner trust. And learner trust is they need to be able to learn something, feel like they accomplished something, and get recognition for it within 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay, awesome. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. And this way, when they're later not in your course again and they get a text notification saying, hey, here's a new lesson, they feel, wow, do I have 5 minutes right now? Yeah, I do. But if they were to say, do I have 10 or 15 minutes right now? A lot of people are going to say,
that's a smart idea. Everybody has 5 minutes. I'm sure 99.9% of people have 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, yep.
But Isaac, why is now the best time ever to create an online course or improve your corporate digital training?
Well, I mean, two sides to it there. So the online course, say if you're a trainer or something like that, is leverage. It's an incredible way to take your IP and leverage it in a way that people can consume it. Let's say you charge a lot for your coaching or your speaking or things like that. Well, what do you have for people that doesn't cause you to have to get on an airplane or physically be on a call that people can consume at a lower cost? See, if you're going to build raving fans, you need something that anybody can learn from, whether you're there or not. That'll actually push up the prices and the value of your in-person stuff anyways. And so it's got to be part of the ecosystem of your training business, if that's who you are. On the company side, it's really important not to give your employees things that are the very antithesis of these great speeches you're talking about, culture, or your cultural initiatives, or your initiatives to improve employee engagement. A lot of times what companies are giving their employees is boring them to death. They may do it. They may go through it. It doesn't mean they're going to implement it. I mean, they're probably thinking about a million other things while you're doing it. I just put this on my LinkedIn. I just posted this 15-second video of an employee with a sledgehammer bashing his computer. And it says something like, my boss told me to, take this course. And, we have to put an end to boring. or something like that. So it's so important. Like, you want your digital training to actually be a catalyst to your culture, your employee engagement, and so forth, and really reinforce the live training you guys are doing internally in a company. And so that's where we have it. We have companies and trainers, trainers monetizing their content, creating leverage, doing reinforcement from the consulting, and then we have companies, that are doing it for internal.
Yeah, so it has to be entertaining as well.
Training. Well, part of the entertainment though is competing with others, and knowing other people are going through something with you and responding to a video with a poll question or open-ended question, or checking off a checklist, or there's one right answer and many wrong, and having more of a quiz effect, and that just keeps our mind clued in.
But unfortunately, most digital training completely failed today. Why is it almost all digital training completely failed today, Isaac?
Yeah, so number one, they're using email for notifications in a lot of cases. A lot of digital training trainers are putting together aren't in a real LMS. They're kind of just videos stacked together with some content, like in Kajabi, Teachable, or Thinkific, or just emailed out, or just sitting on their website. People aren't attracted to that. They're not going to come back to that. It's just one-way communication. It's not an experience. It's not a learning experience. It's not easy for them. I think another reason is corporate America is in a lot of sense, they're trying to get out of it. Every chief learning officer or HR person I talk to is like, they want to make change, but they're stuck in this old model of really expensive production, having an authorship tool and then an LMS and all these things. And it's really just needs to be a rhythm. There needs to be a rhythm of learning in a company, with bite-sized content being dripped right to the phones of employees. And that's where people are going to get the highest retention and engagement.
Cool. And so what would you say are the biggest mistakes companies or experts make in creating online courses?
An expert's going to make a mistake in potentially producing the wrong thing. If you're trying to sell something, you have to verify that people want to buy something.
Yeah.
A lot of times, this, right? A lot of times the trainers are like, I've got, this is such important IP. I've seen this impact people's lives when I talk to them or speak to them. I have to turn this into a course because I'm going to sell a zillion of these things. Well, just because it worked when you're in front of people doesn't mean people are going to buy it in a sales funnel. And so you have to make sure and verify, but maybe doing asking some questions to your audience of what's one thing you'd love to learn more from me about, and just really get a sense for, is there demand for what you're trying to do and what you're trying to sell, and will people buy it? And I think that's a big mistake. And I think other mistakes are they try and put too much production. Their production system is flawed. It takes too much work. It's too expensive. And so therefore we don't do it enough, and then we don't keep it relevant. And I think production is a big area where it's hard. I mean, imagine a world where you could have one camera and 3 LED lights and shoot 3-minute videos and just edit the front and back of them, and they're far more engaging than someone that spent $10,000 on one video.
A world like that exists, though, don't it?
What's that?
A world like that does exist, though, doesn't it?
It does exist, yeah. And I think that you don't have to put so much pressure into the videos. You should use software that brings them to life.
And where does a world like that exist? Is it with conveyor.com?
Yeah, there are other micro-learning platforms, and you can Google and look at them. Conveyor definitely delivers on this in a big way.
So I said it wrong. Conveyor. Sorry, I said it wrong.
Yeah. conveyor.com. Like convey your message. Yep.
I'll definitely check that out, because I make online courses as well. So
nice.
I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, I'm passionate about it. I never want to be involved in something that's just about, only about making money and so forth. Making money it's a good thing, right? It's a resource. But I really believe in what we're doing, because I just felt there needed to be a disruption in the space and make it easier for the author trainer to put their content into something, and then make it far more engaging for the learner to where they're actually, staying with it and, changing their lives or businesses from that information. And so we've really created it, and now we have the data to prove it. There was an example of a management team in a large company going through an optional 30-day course where every day they got a notification, and there was a video and a gamified question each day. every single one of them completed all 30 lessons over the 30 days, 100% retention. And so we're starting to see, crazy numbers like that, and it's wonderful.
Awesome. Congratulations, Isaac. But going back to why experts fail, it's because they don't see if there's a demand for the course first. How they find out if there's a demand for the course that they want to make is they look to see if it's already out there, right? And if it's already out there and it's selling well, is that proof that there's a demand for it? Or if there's too much of it?
Yeah, I think that's a great test right there. Is it already working out there? Unfortunately, some people become discouraged by that. But remember this thing I said in the beginning, that should encourage you. There are so many people in the world that you could totally create something and win. Now, could there be too much? That's possible. I would err on the side that that's probably a better direction. If you don't see it out there at all, that might not be the greatest direction. You're doing a test, and if you're not a super experienced marketer, you might be starting with a very hard project.
And I think the best ones are the ones that worked in the past and are still working now.
Yeah.
For example, goal setting. Goal setting works. A goal setting product or book, it works in the past and it still works now.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think another thing too is people try and create too much. They feel like, well, how can I break my videos down into 5 minutes? I have really complex and really important thoughts. I'm not saying don't share your thoughts. I'm saying be succinct. We're in an ADD world. Everybody has short attention spans. Be succinct. Share your points. Let the software make up for just a basic video, and it'll come to life, and you'll be surprised. Just make more videos. Now, I think a course should be anywhere from 8 to 12 videos. If you feel like you need more than that, then you might make a series of courses that can be bundled and purchased. I think that's a lot better than making one really, really long course in a lot of cases, because remember, people buy things they believe they will consume and they believe will help them. If it's too daunting, if it's too big, if it's too much, you might be preventing people from buying it.
So approximately 36 minutes to just over an hour. That's because each video is 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, isn't it? And 12 videos. So
I would do 3 to 5. Yeah.
3 to 5 minutes and 12 videos. So that's either 36 minutes or just under an hour or just over an hour.
Yeah, and that's for like a self-paced course. So that should qualify that, where all the videos are there and they can do it at their will. If I'm creating something though, it's more like a challenge where I'm going to drip it out daily you could go longer. We have people succeeding with 20 and 30-day challenges where every day they get a video and a gamified question. And you get even higher retention with that because you're just drip feeding little morsels of content out to them every day, and you're staying front of mind with them. And it's really, really powerful. But it really depends on who your audience is, how you're going to use it, how it's being sold, and those kinds of things.
Definitely. But Isaac, according to Bloomberg, 8 out of 10 entrepreneurs who start businesses fail within the first 18 months. What is the way to overcome massive entrepreneurial failure and come back stronger than ever?
Yeah, and I experienced a major failure just happened a couple years ago. And I think one thing is, unfortunately, it takes failing to learn your lessons. For a lot of entrepreneurs, we all have heard that, right? Yeah. But I can share some lessons, which is, this last thing, I went into it with a little bit of bitterness from my previous thing and a lot of ego. And
you had a chip on your shoulder.
I had a chip on my shoulder. It may not have been totally visible. I wasn't this brash, arrogant person, but I definitely internally had it, and it did come out sometimes. And that blinded me. You don't want to be blinded. The next thing I would make sure you're going into it with a sound mind. And not a sound mind would be trying to prove something to others or prove something to the world because of something that happened to you. I think that is a challenging way to start a business. I think another thing is make sure you are aligned with any business partners. I think that's crucial. I also think it's important that you are communicating with your spouse, if you have one, in a very effective way, and you're making a decision together. This way, when it gets hard later, that spouse is not blaming you because they made a decision with you from the beginning. And I think that is a place where entrepreneurs often fail. It might be a something not often mentioned, but it is a really big deal because your marriage is more important if you're a married person. So, and I would also say that make sure you're properly funded. It's okay to put your own, invest some of your own money, but make sure you have a plan that doesn't call for you to put all of your money in. And just realize things never go according to plan. So you have to really have thought through these things, and, don't try and do too much too fast. Like, get a minimum viable product and get it working and learn from that. Don't try and build the whole plan and think everything's going to work according to your plan and try and do it all at once. That's also a huge recipe for failure.
Awesome advice, Isaac. Thanks so much for sharing. If anybody wanted to find out more about you and what you do, where can they, and to learn more about conveyyour.com and how to create online courses, where can they find you, please, Isaac?
Yeah, Isaac Tolpin on social media. Feel free to connect, ISAACTOLPIN. Also, conveyyour.com. And
Conveyyour is spelled conveyyour.com.
That's right. And you can email me, Isaac@conveyyour.com as well.
Awesome. Isaac, I want to thank you again for taking time to do this interview, and I want to thank all the listeners for tuning in. If you know anybody that this interview will benefit, please share it with them. Please also let me know what you think in the comment section and subscribe. And I'm your host, Jamil Jama. This is The Law of Business, and that was Isaac Tolpin. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Laws of Business podcast. Find out more about us on thelawsofbusiness.com. Thank you for being a part of our journey.